Water? What you want something? You want something? Just to, I'm gonna go get JL. Go run and
Water,
get something.
water.
Stand by. All right. Let's come up at 8 on the right. Come up at 8 on the right. We can do this in 8 minutes. All right. Dead.
Colonial Lanes in Harahan. It's the New Orleans Prep Bowling League showdown between the two top teams in the metropolitan area, if not the state of Louisiana, as Brother Martin Crusaders take on the Jesuit Blue Jays. Along with Chip Merritt, I'm Ken Trahan, and our color analyst today is Lenny Van Gilder. And Lenny, it's always a pleasure to be here to bring bowling to the masses. Listen, we've been able to do this now for a few years. Last year, things were interrupted, aborted, and we didn't get to finish a season. But when last we saw bowling, Brother Martin Crusaders were the state champions for the 4th time in 5 years. They certainly have been the best bowling program in Louisiana over the past few years.
They have, and look, Jesuit has quickly established themselves as one of the top programs in the state as well. They were the 6th seed in the bracket 2 years ago. They would have been the 10 seed. Brother Martin would have been the 2 seed. Bowling, I argue, got maybe hit as hard as anybody because they got to finish their regular season. That is right. Their brackets were due to be announced the Monday after the COVID shutdown, and then we were going into the playoffs the following week. So they got to finish out a regular season. Brother Martin went 12-0 a year ago. Jesuit went 11-1. That one loss by Jesuit was to Brother Martin in maybe the highest scoring match we've ever seen in Louisiana high school bowling. Brother Martin set a state record that day, shooting 40-12. Jesuit shot 37-77, which was a school record. They've since eclipsed that. You had 5 700 individual series that day, so it was an extraordinary match. Will we see some of the same today? I hope so. Colonial Lanes doesn't play maybe as high scoring as AMF All-Star Lanes and Kenner does, but still, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out today in a huge match for both of these teams.
Well, it is a good scoring house and somewhat similar to AMF and Kenner, and the shot pattern is pretty much similar as well. We'll get into that as we move along. Let me chip on my initial comment, though. Matt Merritt is with us today for us.
He is doing a great job.
What a deal there. So, Chip, you got to plug anyway.
There you go.
So now Jesuit comes in, as we mentioned, overall as realistically the second best program in this area, if not the state. Now let's talk about that, because going into today, you're talking about seedings, and the LHSA seeds teams just like they do in every other sport. Right. And as of today, we're talking about numbers 7 and 9, which doesn't sound right, considering the fact that these are the two top average teams in Louisiana.
But here's what you've got. You've got everything is based on, just like in the other sports, it's based on one-loss records and what your other teams do in terms of strength of schedule. The thing you don't have in bowling, with a couple of minor exceptions, is pretty much you're just bowling the teams in your area. So you don't get a lot of that. Now, what did happen back in February, you had 3 teams from the New Orleans area who went up to Gonzales to bowl 3 teams from the Baton Rouge area. And 2 of those were Brother Martin and Jesuit bowling Catholic and Central. You see Catholic and Central up there among the tops because they won those matches. That's the only loss that these 2 teams have. For Brother Martin, it snapped a 49-match winning streak that dated back to the 2017 state semifinals. So you still got that in play, but realistically, what do you look at in bowling to determine who's better? You look at averages. And no matter how you calculate it, whether you just do the simple math of let's divide total pins by the number of games, or you take the top 6 bowlers in everybody's lineup and try to figure it out, Brother Martin and Jesuit are 1-2 in the state, no matter how you go about it.
Well, if you look at the New Orleans Prep League averages this year, of the top 20 averages, these 2 schools have, 18 of the top 20 averages combined, 12 for Brother Martin. You can only bowl 6 at a time, of course, and Jesuit has 6. So, therefore, you see the dominance that these 2 programs have right now in this area.
And you win at this sport with depth, okay? That's, it's not unlike, I often make the comparison to, say, cross-country or tennis, where and we'll get into the format here in a moment, but the match that you're going to see at number 1 counts as much as the match you're going to see at number 6. So it's just as when you have that depth and you have that many good bowlers on your team and the ability to substitute and bring in other people, that is what gives you a great advantage.
You alluded to the format, so let's set that at 6 bowlers per team, 3 in one pit, which will be lanes 15 and 16, and the other 3 bowlers for each team will be on lanes 17 and 18, and they go according to average. Therefore, the lowest average bowlers will be on lanes 15 and 16, the 1, 2, and 3 bowlers, if you will, and the 4, 5, and 6 were the anchor bowlers. The better average bowlers will be on the right-hand pair.
And I was going to say, unlike baseball, where when these two schools are facing off on the baseball diamond, and they want to set their lineups. However, doesn't want to set their lineups. No, Todd Bourgeois and Bruce Himbert have no options in this. It is all other than who bowls. Once they decide who bowls, it is based on average. You can't fluctuate your lineup however it is you want to do it. With one exception, if 2 bowlers have the same average, then you have the option. Actually, Bruce Himbert has that ability with Ricky Carmona and Dylan McDonald in the 4 and 5 slots. He's got McDonald bowling 4, Carmona bowling 5 today. Once you put down your roster, that's how it goes for the day. You can't fluctuate from game to game, but you can determine it before the match begins.
Sure, if you have guys with the same average. Now, you have 27 points to be decided over the course of the match today, and it's match play. The number 1 bowler on each team goes against each other, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. So it's match play all the way. Whoever wins the match wins a point, and then at the end of each game, whichever team has compiled the most pins will get 2 bonus points as well. So 24 points in 3 games to be decided, and then 3 bonus points for whoever wins total pins. Whoever knocks down the most pins, total. There is no handicap involved in this process. It's all scratch, and that's a departure from when I bowled in the prep league back in the day.
And me too.
And managed to finish second 2 straight years when there were 30-plus teams. But that's another story. I did my part. Yeah. What can I say? I'm not going to fault anybody else.
I was fortunate enough to win a city championship as a senior. Of course, the LHSA has had bowling going back about 15 or so years now. And I think it's great to help grow the sport.
Certainly.
The next thing that's probably...
We didn't have that when we bowled. Yes.
The next thing that probably has to happen just based on participation numbers is maybe you see 2 divisions on the boys' side instead of 70 or so teams in a normal year that are competing in 1 division for a state championship.
Yeah, I think that whole second place thing that I was part of 2 straight years would have been different if Ed Daniels hadn't been on the team, frankly. But that's another story. All you have to do is ask Steve DeMack about that, and he'll probably tell you that's accurate.
There you go.
All right, so now that we've gotten that blast in, by the way, prayers for Ed, just a little shout-out, unspoken request for our friend.
No doubt.
As he heals up right now from a particularly difficult scenario. And I'm sure he'll come through it with flying colors, as he always does. Love you, buddy. Everything will be fine. So you have a matchup here before we get started here momentarily, where we mentioned 18 of the top 20 averages in the New Orleans area is part of this. And you have, amongst those, you have 3 players on the Jesuit squad averaging 212 or better. And you have the top player in the entire area, and Drew Gardner, averaging 220 for Brother Martin. Of course, Ben Hunt, Luke Wood, Gary Sims for Jesuit. As you look at the matchup, Lenny, slight edge on the high pair to Brother Martin, to Jesuit, I should say. Blue Jays with a slight edge on the high pair, Crusaders with a slight edge on the low pair.
Yeah, I think you look at this. You look at this high pair matchup. Again, there's 6 bowlers in the New Orleans area averaging over 200 right now. You're going to see them all here today, 6, 3 on each side. I could see those 9 points going 5-4 one way or the other. I think it's that you can really throw a blanket over those two because they're very close.
1 two-hander for Jesuit, William Carpenter, whom we'll see in the 2 spot, and that's been a popular realm of bowling in recent times, although not as prevalent among these teams as we've seen most recently in bowling across the board. And speaking of that, with the 2-hand bowlers, a new rule where you have to have a certain weight distribution in terms of a hole being drilled.
Well, you cannot, that's it. You cannot have, you have to have a digit in every hole that's in your ball. So you cannot have a weight hole in your ball anymore. And that's, that's a change that started this year. And obviously it's something that you have to keep an eye on. So it's up to the different coaches and officials to enforce that now, which wasn't the case at this time last year.
Getting set to get started. What's in the bag? We can tell you that all bowlers that are scheduled to bowl today will be using reactive resin, having checked on that earlier, which is, of course, the current mode of transportation, if you will, in bowling. Although at the highest level, we see a lot of the best players in the world now going backwards and using urethane to cut down on the friction and the balls traveling down the lane in terms of how many boards you cross. We'll see a high rev rate for a few players here today. And, of course, when you're talking about the conditions, they are good scoring conditions at Colonial Lanes. And the sweet spot is anywhere from 8 to 12 in terms of boards on the lane. You have 40 boards on the lane, so you're going to see different angles of attack, but typically the sweet spot, if you will, the track area, as we like to call it, is between the 8 and 12 boards on each of these pair of lanes. So that's ideally where you want to see the ball crossing at the arrows, and we'll see how many players are able to execute well enough here this afternoon. Two best bowling teams in the New Orleans area, and of course a lot at stake here today in terms of seedings. Whoever wins this match probably earns a higher seed than the other.
Well, it's a big jump. Let's do the math here. Whoever wins this match likely finishes 11-1. Whoever loses this match likely finishes 10-2. You get 10 points for a win in the PowerPoint system, and you get 1 for every other win that you get by your other bowlers.
And we're underway.
Yep.
Right off the bat in the 4 spot for Jesuit, a strike for Gary Sims, who's averaging .212 on the year. And right away a washout for Brother Martin on the 4 spot, and a strike in the 1 hole for Brother Martin to get things started. That's Carson Coletti. Let's set the lineups for Brother Martin in the 1 spot, Carson Coletti, Jacob Van Gilder in the 2 spot, Ethan Porter in the number 3 hole. Then on the high pair, Dylan McDonald in the 4 spot, leaving the washout. Ricky Carmona bowling 5th, and Drew Gardner is the cleanup man, batting 6th for Brother Martin. And of course, for Jesuit, Colin Pierce is the leadoff bowler in the 1 spot. The 2-hander, William Carpenter, is in the 2 spot. Will Adams is in the 3rd spot.
Great pickup of the 3, 6, 7, 10 by Dylan McDonald. You talk about a momentum lift right there after after that first shot leaves a big split.
And gets a spare out of it. Gary Sims in the 4 spot, Luke Wood at 5, and Ben Hunt at 6 for the Blue Jays as we're underway. And so far, 1 open frame, and that is on the visiting side for Jesuit. Colin Pierce with an open frame, and now we see a strike in the 5 spot for Brother Martin from Ricky Carmona, averaging .206 on the year. And now up for Jesuit is Luke Wood, who's a .215 average bowler. Very solid game. Have seen him on several occasions. He'll be deep on the lane, and he'll create a lot of twist down the lane. Leaves a shaker 7-pin. Good shot, though, nonetheless. Corner pins will be the pins to watch with Carey here at Colonial Lanes with the angles that are being played here this afternoon. Filling the boxes, that's Jacob Van Gilder with a spare for Brother Martin. And
you want to get the elephant out of the room now?
Yeah, it's all good.
Go ahead.
Sure, that's JL's grandson. Okay,
there you go.
So let's move on. All right. Spot, Drew Gardner up. By the way, JL is a really good bowler, although he took forever to throw the ball. Gardner with a 4-pin. Good shot to get things started. And the cover nicely done using the lane for Luke Wood, which will bring Ben Hunt to the plate. Oh, that was Ben Hunt, I'm sorry. After Wood, that was Ben Hunt, the 6-hole bowler.
Yeah.
And the best average bowler for Jesuit at .216, but barely with Wood at .215.
Yeah.
And Brother Martin filling boxes. First time around, as mentioned, we've had just the 1 open frame thus far as we're nearing the end of the first frame of this first game of the 3-game matchup.
Ethan Porter's got a 2-4-8-10 to contend with over at number 3 right now, so this is a tough leave here right now to pick up.
That's not impossible, but very difficult. You have to have the perfect angle.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to make that with the ball tailing away.
And he got it.
That's a fantastic shot.
Wow.
That's 2 fantastic conversions by Brother Martin, and right off the bat.
And again, those are the kind of things. Look, this is, there's no defense in this game, okay? But there is momentum, and you feed off what your teammates do, and that's the kind of thing that can help.
So through 1 frame, 1 open frame, that belonging to Jesuit. So now we're up in the 2nd frame. Wide shot. Now to the high pair, and that's tugged pretty badly. So 2 open frames for Jesuit now after the open frame in the 2nd for the number 4 bowler, Gary Sims. And that's what you want to look for early on. Brother Martin, very much accustomed to bowling in this house. They're the only school that chooses to bowl here at Colonial Lanes. Jesuit's home house is AMF Kenner, which most of the schools bowl out. And that's something that's different in this particular sport that is governed by the LHSA, and that is you can choose any house you want as your home house. We have schools bowling at Westside Bowl, schools bowling in Slidell, and schools bowling in Kenner, schools bowling here at Colonial. Wide, a little bit tight there, and of course the leave with a spare possibility. Not a difficult spare for Van Gilder. That's wide. Jesuit looks like they have to adjust a little bit early on.
Yeah.
They're coming up high and they're coming wide. And again,
and look, that's again, you talked about bowling at AMF, and because the majority of the teams in this area do bowl at AMF, of the 10 teams, 6 of them bowl at AMF. So you end up with home and visiting matches, but a lot of times if you're a home team there, your visiting matches might be there as well. So I believe this is only the second time in the area that Jesuit has bowled somewhere other than AMF. They had to bowl one at Westside.
So how much of an advantage is that to Brother Martin?
Well, I think it does play somewhat, and it, like even at AMF, because you bowl visiting matches there, and a lot of the Brother Martin bowlers bowl Saturday leagues out there, so you get the opportunity to bowl on that. Whereas when the Jesuit bowlers come over here, the other teams come over here, you don't have as many bowlers who have bowled at Colonial a lot.
Another open frame for Jesuit in the 2 spots, so Blue Jays scuffling a little bit early on. That's a
terrific shot there by Ben Hunt. That was a great-looking shot.
Can't make a better shot. Leaves a stone 7-pin, which for a right-hander is very unusual. Now you leave a 10-pin on the low end. Again, the corners here, in my estimation, have always been a little bit more difficult to carry than they are in Kenner.
Right.
We're seeing some evidence of that early on. Brother Martin doing a good job of converting spares. Very good job early in this game. A team can blow you out with strikes, but spares typically are going to win games and win matches for you.
No doubt. And that's a point of emphasis for all of these teams, because that can be, when you get in a close match, that's all it takes is one match or one spare. It could swing any number of points.
Nice adjustment by Gary Sims after pulling a shot in the second. Strikes with a flush shot here in the 3rd frame. Today's match on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute. At Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute, each patient receives the same personalized care and innovative treatment as the professional athletes they treat every day. Get back in the game as quickly and safely as possible with the team that treats more than 30,000 athletes per year. Learn more at oxnard.org/sportsmed. As you no doubt can tell, there's a very good contingent of fans on both sides watching here today.
And that's good to see, because this season started with some question as to whether they're going to allow fans to be able to watch matches. And obviously, bowling centers dealing with a lot of the COVID restrictions out there.
And a little wall 10-pin strike for Jacob Van Gilder. Well rolled ball. There's a tug and a split. So, again, early advantage to Brother Martin, unquestionably. And I think for Jesuit, it's got to be an adjustment period as play goes on. Really good start here for Brother Martin's 5-hole bowler, who's gotten off to a great start, as Ricky Carmona's got the first 3. 206 average bowler. And again, Brother Martin clearly establishing the edge early on. Another missed spare for the Blue Jays. So Brother Martin, total pins-wise, has a nice solid lead pretty much after 3 frames, which are just about to be complete here.
You look at it about take that back. I think Brother Martin may have, at 4, Jesuit has the edge right now. But Brother Martin has a lead
at the 6.
Yeah, that's, and look, that's, one of the things that these teams are not used to is, and I think that was one of the things that played a factor in Brother Martin's match with Catholic earlier this year, is they got punched in the mouth pretty quickly by Catholic. Catholic got off to a great start, and they came back the second game. It shot 14-10, the highest score in the state this year. Finished the match at 39-41. All right, Brother Martin did not bowl horribly that day. Obviously not good enough to win the match, but it's, you're not used to that. You're not used to playing from behind. And it's somebody, unless this is 4-4 after game 1, somebody's going to have to play from behind, and it's going to be interesting to see how they respond. Another good spare for Brother Martin. In the 1 spot, converting 3-pin spares, that's tough to do consistently. And they've done it with great consistency as Coletti converts there. Blue Jays, I'm still searching. Yeah, they still do not have a double through 3 frames. Narrow conversion, but enough speed to take care of that. As Gardner is able to fill the box, and through 3 frames, Brother Martin's filled every box, thus establishing the lead in this match early on. Double for Van Gilder, and there's a stone 9-pin. You can't make a better shot than that.
Well, that's a shame. Had the first three.
On a turkey, no less. Yep.
Ricky Carmona stones a 9-pin. That's a beautiful swisher.
Yeah, Gary Sims has got a lot of power and can really generate some things out there.
And that's Jesuit's first double of the match.
Right.
So Sims, who came in at 212, had a 7:44 series against Patrick Taylor.
That was a huge set for Jesuit a couple of weeks ago today. Or, I'm sorry, March 11th, 11 days ago.
Now Jesuit finding its mark. Luke Wood doubles, so back-to-back doubles for the Blue Jays. Like I said, I think there would be an adjustment.
Exactly. 39-51 Jesuit against Patrick Taylor at Westside. Okay, Westside, we've seen some big scores of late, and that's
first open frame forthcoming for Brother Martin, it would appear. Yeah. And Jesuit starting to find the mark nicely here. As you got a split in the one spot for Carson Coletti. Unlikely conversion here. Good effort, but there's your first open frame for the Crusaders. Comes in the fifth frame. That's pretty good.
Yep.
When you haven't had an open frame until the fifth frame.
Pretty much four clean frames for everybody. Drew Gardner about to get up here in the fourth. He's not struck yet, which, Drew's going to fill a lot of boxes, obviously, with that 220 average.
Well, we stated early on that we thought Brother Martin had the edge in the low pit and that Jesuit had the edge in the high pit. Not by much on either side, but so far that's trending in that direction. But it's very early yet. Beautiful pitch there by Gardner, and he's got a 12-pin lead in his match against Hunn, the two best bowlers in the New Orleans area. Van Gilder's off to a great start with 3 in a row.
You could see the scores at the top of your screen, Ken, and it's obviously you see the match score there, which we'll update after the first game. But you could see the monitors there as the people in the house do. It's Brother Martin is the home team, so thus the H is on there.
Right.
And
Sims a little bit fast to the foul line, and that's what he's got to watch for. A very fast approach, and he loses timing a little bit and has tugged a couple in the process. Very makeable spare with the 5-9.
Dylan McDonald missing a 4-pin there.
Which is the first real miss of the spare for the Crusaders in the match. And Sims is able to convert, so he'll open up a pretty nice lead of 23 pins in his match in the 4 spot for the Blue Jays. And again, it's head-to-head matchups. That's what to watch for. That's where the points come from. There's your shot right down the 8th or 9th board, just as we spoke about. That's what you want to be watching for, just to give you some perspective. If you're not a bowler, that's between the first and second arrow.
Just to the right of the second arrow. Closer to the second and the first. You get it out wide. I wouldn't say there's out of bounds here, but it's not as forgiving perhaps as some places.
Luke Wood with a really good pitch and leaves a stuffed 10-pin. Really needed that to close the gap. Has to convert here. Does so.
Saw Luke bowl a 300 game last winter on a Saturday morning.
I really like his game.
Yep.
Another strike for Jacob Van Gilder as he's on a roll. 4 in a row. Off to a great spot in the 2-hole. Really the highest score we have going in this particular game. He had a great game most recently, didn't he? 268?
Yeah. And that's the thing. He's bowled well game ones. The game you're referencing here against Patrick Taylor started out, left the split in the first frame, 9 out, and then strung 9 strikes in a row together. And then left the stone 9. And 9 was the common theme there. So.
That's a beautiful shot by Hunn. Brought that ball back beautifully. Great angle. So he's doubled up, and he's put himself in great position now in his match. Now Gardner just looking to convert the 4-pin and maintain a 2-pin lead over Hunn in that all so important 6 spot. Beautiful shot here. So a good job there to come back from the open frame by McDonald. Put himself in good shape. Trailing in his match by 23. And open frame on the low pair for Jesuit in the 1 spot for Colin Pierce.
And the thing you mentioned about the whole total pin factor, even when maybe your match is out of reach, you still got to go get whatever you can get because total pins for the game, for the match remain at play. And in a tight match like this, you never know what may happen.
Ricky Carmona just throwing the ball beautifully. He should have 6 in a row. He's got 5 of the 6, which he's carried And he's got the lead in his match. So right now, the two middle bowlers on each pair, Carmona and Van Gilder, are leading the way for Brother Martin as Crusaders have opened up a solid lead in game one here. And a 10-pin here. Good location. Speed a little soft. Again, those corners, the issue to kick out here.
Yeah. William Carpenter in the 2 spot for Jesuit, bowling against Jacob Van Gilder. They were Saturday morning teammates for a couple of years, so they know each other very well, along with Will Adams, who bowls in the 3 spot. Once they got into high school, I guess they decided, okay, we got to bowl with our high school teammates now.
And Brother Martin with the lead in the 1 spot now. So Brother Martin in good shape on the low pair. The 3rd hole and the low pair is a good match. The other 2 are clearly in favor of Brother Martin at this stage. And on the high pair of things, right now, Brother Martin has control of 2 of those matches. And there's another corner pin. So Luke Wood's making good shots. He's just not been able to carry. That's 3 hits he's had that have not carried now, and he's only carried twice. So you think about angle, you think about equipment, a few things there. And Todd Bourgeois is an excellent coach for Jesuit. He's a bowler and a really good one and understands the sport extremely well. That's one of the things I wanted to bring up too, Lenny, is the fact that you've got more people committing to the sport that know the sport. In many cases, the so-called coach of bowling teams have not been bowlers per se, but moderators of sort. We're seeing more coaches get involved now, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good thing. The more people from within the sport who get involved with it on the high school level is only going to make it better. And obviously you don't have a ton of, bowling coaches that are sitting there as faculty members on the high school level. You can use those non-faculty exemptions. Each school gets so many.
Good shot by Sims after Hun leaves a Greek church and held on to one too long. And what I mean by that is he hit it too hard, hung on to it a little bit too long, came over it, and it hooks right through the nose and leaves a terrible leave, what we call a Greek church. And it's going to put him well behind Drew Gardner now, figuring he will not convert. Today's match on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Riverlands Insurance Services, who encourages you to make your insurance game plan today. Riverlands is a proud recipient of the Top Insurance Workplace Award for 2019 from Insurance Business America. Call Riverlands at 1-800-336-4579 or go to riverlandsinsurance.com. Through 7 frames now, looking at pins, Brother Martin in command of this first game to this point. But still 3 frames to go to try to make a difference. And right now, Jesuit's eyeing matches to see how many possible matches they can get out of this one. They're in 3 matches right now, for sure. And that's clearly what the Blue Jays are eyeing here. You got the 2 bonus pins, which right now certainly seem to be going on bonus points to Brother Martin in game 1. But the matches are a different story as we watch with great interest. That's a really good pitch.
Yeah, good shot by Hunt. He got through that one much better. He gave it some room, and he just blew out the 5-pin.
Yeah, he's probably deepest on the lane of any bowler we've seen early on in this game, which means he's starting further to the left side and going right with it. A 4-pin for Van Gilder, a pretty good shot. And here's a cover-up of the spare here for Brother Martin by Dylan McDonald. So Jesuit up in the 4 spot right now.
That's it.
And that's all. Brother Martin in control in the 5 and 6 spots. And then in the low pair of lanes, you got Brother Martin in control right now of 2 matches and ahead in the 3rd. Got that ball wide and comes away with a good 9.
Could have been disaster.
Sure.
That could have been a 2-4-10, a 2-4-8-10, and ends up leaving just the 2-pin.
Had just enough on it to get just a touch of the head pin, which averted a washout or a very difficult leave like that, for instance. A little bit deep on the lane and a little bit upright at the foul line, not able to get through it. So a difficult spare to follow. That's the one match that Jesuit is ahead in the 4 spot right now. Using the lane nicely to convert the spare is Carmona. Let the lane condition do the work. And a missed spare for Jesuit. Can't miss 1-pin spares.
William Adams, and that was a tight match right there.
Not anymore, and there's a great conversion. Brother Martin has converted 3 difficult washout spares in this first game, and that will set you apart. The strikes are going to be there, but when you're making those kinds of spares, it's really going to separate you from the opponent. That's what we're seeing here. Stone 7-pin, again, this is not Jesuit's game. That's pretty safe to say with the way this one's unfolding. And they're going to have a lot of work to do because right now, Lenny, it's not just looking like a 7-1 game, but it's looking like a pretty significant pin advantage for the Crusaders.
You got a chance to get a triple-digit lead on the total pin side. Now look, 7-1 the other way, you just by simple math, it can help close the gap. Drew Gardner got one he needed right there to help extend that lead a little bit, doubles up, makes it a 29-pin lead.
Right, because Hunt is capable of taking it off the sheet and making that tough.
Yeah, possible 218 for Hunt. That puts Gardner at a 217 pace right now.
He's going to put...
Or 207, I should say.
207. Going to put a lot of pressure on Hunt to have to strike from here on out. Well, that's the one Jesuit bowler that is bowling well and winning his match right now. That's in the 4 spot, Gary Sims. But he is a 212 average bowler, so no surprise there. And a really nice pitch and an answer for Brother Martin.
Carmona with a big shot.
Carmona's really probably hit the hole more than anybody that we've seen thus far in game one on either side. Been very good. Strikes abound on both sides. Doubling for Jesuit, Luke Wood. Van Gilder strikes for Brother Martin. Again, the low pit really distinguishing itself for Brother Martin.
And that's a closeout right there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a win for Brother Martin at 2 at this point with a 57-pin lead.
Stone 10-pin. You got all
Ethan Porta had 3 in a row there, and just
all 3 bowlers for Brother Martin at this point looking like they're going to shoot 200 or better in the low pit, and that's very significant because all 3 bowlers, none of them average 200, although all are in the 190s. So again, above their pay grade, it would appear, and that's what's going to win for you today when you have 2 high average teams going against each other. Beautiful pitch.
That's 3 in a row, and keep in mind, and Hun left the 5-pin.
Right, so that match is pretty much over.
Yeah, that's now a 29-pin lead for Gardner at 6.
With 2 frames left. So Jesuit sitting pretty to win 5 matches here out of 6 and to make this a 7-1 game. Again, that's where Sims gets lost. He got very fast to the line, yanked it pretty badly, gets double Wood out of it.
Yeah, 3-9, not an easy conversion. Of course, you gotta hit it just right to take out that back pin.
All of his misses of the pocket have been left of the head pin here in game 1.
McDonald struggling a little bit right now, and you see Bruce Hember trying to work with him a little bit there.
And a miss there for Sims. So Sims, a 1 bowler that's had a good game with an open frame in the ninth.
And he's still in good shape.
Still going to win the match.
Yeah, he's 183 in the ninth.
Well, all he's going to need is
8 out. Yeah, 8 out would be a shutout. Yeah.
Sure.
Carson Coletti in that 1 spot. You know, last year in this match, we mentioned some of those scores. Carson Sheehan, who's not even starting today, in the 1 slot last year, bowled 725. We saw some extraordinary scores, and you talk about that feeding off of momentum. It's a lot of what we saw. You and I both witnessed that match, and one of the things that we said was this is the kind of match you might want to see in April, not in January, because they bowled in late January a year ago.
Luke Wood is locked in. He's got a triple, and he's not out of his match yet in the 5 spot.
No, not at all.
He's totally locked in. Hunt with a trip. Hunt's really deep on the lane, and he's still getting enormous revolutions, and that went right through the bevel.
Wow, and that's a big 5-count split on a strike, though. So
that
you don't
really
count.
Opens up that match.
It does. It does.
So now that 7-1 could change. It's not out of the question, especially since Wood is locked in. He had 2 9-counts that he didn't carry, really good shots, before his triple. Settling for 8 out, so that's going to put him at 192 in the 9th frame. 194 in the 9th frame, pardon me.
McDonald.
So right now, that match is going the other way.
Yep, absolutely. It's an 11-pin lead for Jesuit at 5 for Wood. Yep.
So now Jesuit has swung 1 match its way. Looks like the Blue Jays could come away with 2 wins as opposed to 1, and that's very important.
Yeah, but that's the first one. He needs the first strike in the 10th for a shutout there, which is big. And anything else, he does not strike on that first ball, and Ricky Carmona has a chance to either tie or win at number 5.
Outstanding job by Carson Coletti for Brother Martin, shooting 219 in the 1 hole to win his match, 219 to 182 over Colin Pierce of Jesuit.
McDonald can spare here to finish with 180.
And now Gardner looking for 4 in a row. Ended up with an 8 count. And that's not Gardner, that's a 4 spot, of course.
That's McDonald.
That's Dylan McDonald. Now Gardner will step up.
Gardner's on
will
the,
step
on
up
the right
to
lane.
shoot for 4 in a row. Have a shot taken that hits a rack. Wasn't even aware that the rack was coming down.
Yeah, that's one of the things you got to watch here. You want to call it, I wouldn't call it the home lane's advantage, but they don't automatically reset for whatever reason. And
Gardner, a little bit high, speed a little bit soft, ends up with an 8 count, safe. And his match is safe as well.
Yep. You would think so, yeah. He's needs to fill some boxes here. Certainly needs one more spare to close this out.
Carried the 4-pin, good shot. That was a big shot to keep him in that match in the 5 spot. Ricky Carmona could use another. If Carmona can strike here, he'll force a strike from Luke Wood. If he can take it off the sheet and strike out at 224. He would force Luke Wood to throw the first strike in the 10th frame to win the match.
Exactly.
Spare conversion for Gardner.
Yeah, so basically he needs 7 on his first ball to close that match.
Here's Carmona. He's there.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to apply some pressure here to Luke Wood. .224 game for Jacob Van Gilder. 30 pins over average. Extremely well done. Wins easily 148 over his opponent. Carpenter, that's a gigantic spread.
And just at 1 and 2, you're talking about now plus 113 for Brother Martin at just the 1 and 2 spots alone. And Ethan Porter's going to add on to that as he's trying to strike out here for 233. He got a chance to be high on the team.
Well, there you have it. 224, big finish. That was a huge finish.
And Gary Sims trying to get some pins back here for Jesuit, try to close into that deficit. He's got a chance to strike out for 213.
So the real match to watch here is the 5 spot. What a good match this is. 224 for Ricky Carmona. And opposite him is Luke Wood on a triple right now, rallying late, but the only way he's going to win this match is to strike in the 10th frame. 9 spare strike is a tie. 9 spare 9 or 9 spare anything else is a win for Carmona. So that's a one-match swing there. That's a big shot coming up.
Yep.
Sims finishes at 212 to win his match. And by the way, his average is 212. Doing his job.
So it's just simple. Luke Wood needs a strike right here to win. Anything else, the best he could do, would need 9 spare strike to tie.
Big break there to break up a split for Gardner.
And that's a winner. That's all he needed was, he needed 7 to close it out. He got 8. So here's your match.
Yeah, this is big here. This is a shot to give Jesuit a real chance moving forward. Online and slap it out. As mentioned, he's had the most shots in the pocket of any of the bowlers on either lane in the first game. And he finally started to carry, Lenny. He left a hit in the first frame, then he left some good shots in the 5th and 6th, and now he's put together 4 in a row.
He's going to be high in the match, it looks like here. Could take it out for 245.
He's in the 230s right now.
One more strike here would give him that chance.
So this is going to be a 6-2 game in favor of Brother Martin. All about the low pit. Brother Martin dominated.
Plus 150 in the low pit, winning those 3 matches.
Gardner misses a spare to finish at 202.
But it's still a winner.
And there's another strike. This young man is really locked in. Luke Wood just having an outstanding game. The score doesn't tell the story. I mean, he had 1 shot out of the pocket in the whole game. Excellent performance. And he'll win this match by 20 to 21 pins, which Jesuit clearly needed. Oh, it's kind of shaping up the way we pointed out, Lenny. Low pit controlled by Brother Martin. High pit very competitive. could end up being a Jesuit win in the high pit overall, but not by much. He went off the sheet. That's extremely well done. Six-bagger to close out the game for Luke Wood at 2:45. And now we'll see if Ben Hun can get himself
get the pins
lined
back.
up.
He can't win the match. I mean, we know.
No, but Jesuit will win the pit in terms of total pins here.
Right.
Much like we talked about earlier.
Right.
Now it's all about pins.
Three strikes for Hun, and this is basically about 100 pins. It was 150.
So look at the 10th frame for Jesuit in the high pit. They are absolutely making up a ton of pins here in the 10th frame. 29 fill for their 4-hole bowler. Sims struck out, did Wood, and now you've got Hun, who's already doubled. He's going to come up short winning the match.
Right.
He was
strikeout for 198, which would be a 4-pin loss.
But he's getting lined up.
Right, and you've had wins by 32 at number 4 and by 21 at number 5. So that would be plus 49 for Jesuit if he strikes out.
Well, Lenny, he's gotten deep enough on the lane now. He's creating.
Right.
His rev rate is higher than anyone else's, and he's creating area. And therefore, when you talk about rev rate and creating area, the more boards you cross, the better the chances are you're going to carry if you touch part of that head pin, as long as you don't get too high. And right now, Hun, any touch of the head pin with the kind of revolutions he has and the boards he's creating, he's going to carry. Trying to close it out here for 198. Unable to carry, but a good finish nonetheless.
196, so that will be a 6-pin loss combined with wins by 32 and 21. So that's going to be plus 47 for Jesuit on the high side. So it's plus 103 for Brother Martin through 2.
So a 6-2 victory for Brother Martin is the verdict in game 1. But Jesuit started to gain some momentum and some confidence toward the end of the game there. So, again, you get 6 points to be decided by the matches, 2 for total pins. Brother Martin wins 4 of the 6 matches, and they win total pins to take a 6-2 lead after 1. And now we'll see if any changes are made moving forward. Coaches have the right to switch lineups if they wish. So we'll see if, in fact, they decide they're going to do that.
Right, they'll talk about it, and they'll meet with their bowlers. Might see an adjustment or two on the Jesuit side. The way Brother Martin bowled, I don't know that you're going to see any adjustments on that side as they shot. Was it 1279?
So again, set the total pins for everybody.
Yeah. Do the math here. It's looks like 1176 for Jesuit, 1279 for Brother Martin. So plus 103 at this point.
Yep.
As both of these teams get ready to go in game number 2.
And today's match on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Greater New Orleans USBC, serving men, women, and youth bowlers in the New Orleans area. Contact your local bowling center today to learn more about leagues, tournaments, and other opportunities to enjoy the sport of bowling. Or learn more at gnousbc.org. Thanks to Claude Mayer and the entire board of the USBC for their support of high school bowling. It is greatly appreciated.
And they understand what we're trying to do today. It's promoting the sport and, doing our little part to grow the sport, if you will, in terms of visibility out there.
And certainly this is a good time to mention that we will be able to bring you the state championship matches, which will emanate from Gonzales in about a month's time. So we will be there to bring you the official webcast of the state championships, LHSAA style, coming up in about a month's time.
In Gonzales at Premier Lanes. Was going to be there last year before everything stopped. And it's a unique facility. They've got a 20-lane regular facility, and then on the high side of the house, they've got a 6-lane boutique setup, something we haven't really seen in New Orleans much of, but they do it in other areas. And they're going to bowl the finals on the boutique side, try to set up almost a little stadium style over there. And it will be, it'll be a lot of fun to be able to bring it in that kind of setting to you.
So now We'll let Lenny go take a quick peek to check the lineups for game 2 to make sure that we're keeping the same lineups for each team or if there will be any changes made. Again, match play, first game. Brother Martin wins 4 of the 6 matches. And the Crusaders win total pins in solid fashion by 103 pins. So Brother Martin is up 6-2 over Jesuit after match number 1. So the things to look for in game 2, from my perspective, are this. Can Jesuit close the gap on the low pair? Because to me, that's going to be the most significant. They got outbowled very badly on the low pair in match number 1. And secondly, for Jesuit, can Ben Hun find his rhythm and find his shot, because he showed later in the match that he had made some adjustments and was able to get himself closer. So again, can Jesuit close the gap on the low pair in game 2? That is the first question mark. The second would be about Ben Hun and whether he can find his location consistently.
Right. Now, here's one of the interesting things that happens in these matches, because again, you're lining up as based on averages. So Bruce Himbert takes Dylan McDonald out as he was struggling a little bit. Let him get a chance to go on the practice pair and get a little work. Okay. Ethan Porter moves from the 3 to the 4 spot in the lineup, so he has to switch pairs of lanes. Darren Martino enters the lineup at the number 3 spot. So that's the one change, is basically it's Martino for McDonald, although Porter moves from 3 to 4 in the exchange. And then for Jesuit, Michael McGovern enters in the 1 spot. Colin Pierce slides down to the 2 spot as Carpenter comes out. So those are your changes.
25, yours ready?
So ready to go here as we're just getting underway in game 2, and 3 strikes out of 4 and an open frame for Jesuit already in the 1 spot. As we just mentioned, McGovern has entered and he's opened in the first frame. But to me, again, it's going to be about Jesuit on the low pair and whether or not they can close the gap, because they were not competitive on the low pair of lanes. And here's Hun going high right away. And again, he's covering a lot of boards. And it's not about getting it wider. It's about getting it from the oil to the dry. If you get it to the dry too early, it's going to snap through the nose like we've seen him do 3 times now. And that's what's happening to him more than anything else. Crossover strike for Jesuit in the 3 spot for Will Adams. And Hun covers up. So Blue Jays through 1 frame with an open. Brother Martin has an open on the low pair as well. Really good shot. 10-pin the result. Again, the deeper you get on the lane, Lenny, the more of a chance there is you're going to leave a corner pin.
Yeah.
Nature of the game.
Yeah. And a lot of it's about angle, too. It's one thing that, as Ethan Porter misses high there.
That's a perfect example of what I was talking about with Hun. He got the ball to the dry too early, and it snapped very hard. So you want to get it into the oil anywhere from 14 to 11, 14 to 10. Then get it out of the oil so then you get the back end. But when you get it to 8 or 9 early, it's going to snap too
wide early, exactly.
It's going to snap too early.
Right.
And that's what we're seeing with these reactive resin balls. And there's a reason they're called reactive resin. No pun intended. They react. There's a reason for the resin, which resonates clearly with anybody who knows bowling. And I better shut up. Double right out of the box in the 1 spot for Brother Martin. Carson Coletti, who bowled so well in game 1. Well, you get a 219 game from your 1-hole bowler. That usually bodes well. And he's off to a double start in game 2. And Jesuit with another open frame, so McGovern has had 2 opens to start. He was inserted in the lineup. That's the trick bag when you're the coach. You got to decide whether or not you want to make a change. It could strike gold or it might not. You just don't know. And Gilder spares up. Outstanding release right there.
Really good shot by Wood.
He has been the most impressive bowler thus far for either team early on. More shots in the pocket than anyone, all but 1. It's simply a matter of carry for Wood. Nice spare here. Well done.
Yep, Darren Martino, the lefty, coming in. Starts off with a double. Got a little fortuitous break there.
9-pin goes here for Hun. Good to see Martino in there. Friends with Dad for many, many years now. But you see a lot of that in bowling. A lot of second generation, third generation.
No doubt about it. And
it's one of those sports.
You see that. You see
Shaker 7-pin here. Pretty good shot.
Yeah. You see the siblings who bowl. You mentioned the Huns. His dad, Dad Eric bowled at Jesuit.
3-spot for Jesuit with a double to start off the second game. Will Adams.
Yeah. A stone 9-pin.
Can't make a better shot than that for Gardner.
No doubt.
Strong strike here for Brother Martin in the 4th spot. Porta.
Yep, Porta stepping up in a big way, high on the team in game number 1. This is a young man who a year ago averaged 164. He's averaging 197 this year.
Fantastic progression.
Yep.
Dedication to be better.
Yep.
Showing up.
Making the commitment and, working on the things that maybe you don't do as well and improving them. And he's made some very nice adjustments to his game, especially of late.
McGovern gets his first mark for Jesuit. That's important to ease things a little bit for him. High and a split results. So through the nose, pay the price. Pierce Van Gilder strikes. So he is about to take the lead early in that game as a result of the split on the opponent's side.
A 5 count there for Carmona. The dinner bucket with the extra chicken leg, right?
Exactly. 7-pin added. That's a very difficult spare. To me, it's always about the angle of attack on this spare. If you want to hook it, you got to hit it perfect. If you're able to go down the left side, I think your chances are better trying to convert this spare. But that, to me, was always difficult to do. And that's what he's doing. He's going straight at it.
And he tried to go to the crossover side there.
Well, that's what I said. He's going straight at it, going from the left side, which means you want to hit it from the left. But he yanked it a little bit too much. But again, a very difficult spare. Good job by Sims to cover up the 10-pin. Right. He wasn't able to cover. So early on in this game, things look a little bit better for Jesuit than they did in game 1 at this stage. Again, the key is a low pair where they just got crushed in game 1.
And so far, they've got off to one good start there with Will Adams, who's got the front 3 to match what Martino is doing.
Well done. Wood continues to show wonderfully for the Blue Jays. Just locating everything so well. He's locked in. You just want to, when you are in that mode, you just want to pick up the ball and go. Mm-hmm. It happens like that occasionally. Excellent stroke, boy, just barely averted the 7-10, and wow, a really good pitch.
Yep, got the 10 out late.
By Gardner. Again, we'll watch the angle for Hun. Does he get it wide too early? No, that time it stayed in the oil. So kind of in between, if you will, right?
Yeah, you got to get somewhere in between that, because a lot of times if you're covering that many boards, a lot of times when you do arrive in the pocket, you don't have quite the reaction, and you're leaving the 10-pin.
Both anchor bowlers needing to convert corner pins here. A 2-pin match at this stage. First up, Gardner to try to take care of the 7-pin, which he does. That ball snapped like crazy. Yeah. Wow. On the other side of things, the cover is made by Hun. So that gives Jesuit a lead in the high pit in all 3 categories, at least through 3 frames. On the low pair, Brother Martin is again in good shape.
Up at 1, up at 2, tied at 3.
Up at 2 and tied at 3, as both of the third-hole bowlers have tripled to start game 2. Darren Martino in for Brother Martin, Will Adams for Jesuit. Doing some clearing of the deck there.
Yeah, you
getting an applause.
You get a decent amount of deadwood here that you've got to clear.
Solid 10-pin wrapped
again,
right around it.
that's a similar shot to what, in terms of angle, to what Hun just threw, and it just wrapped the 6 around the 10. Good cover right there by Coletti.
He's bowled extremely well for Brother Martin. Carson Coletti Jr. Sims able to throw a lot of strikes.
The thing about this sport, it shows you could be about any size and be successful. It's not
4 in a row for Will Adams to get things started for Jesuit.
Wow. But you look at the top 2 in the lineup right now for Brother Martin. Carson Coletti might come up to Jacob Van Gilder's, shoulder blades. It doesn't matter in this sport,
Not in the least. It's one of the things you love about wrestling, which, of course, I cover extremely every year. Again, Wood is going to hit the pocket every time. It's a matter of whether he can carry or not. He was a little bit behind the head pin there, leaving the 10, but he's in the 1-3 every single shot. Nicely done by the left-hander. Boy, he's bowling extremely well.
Martino and Adams matching X for X right now.
So right now, the substitution made by Bruce Himbert is looming large, as Martino is just looking outstanding. Cover made by Wood. Keep his sheet clean. Jesuit one-hole bowler McGovern, who's in for this second game, makes a good shot. He's settling down after a little bit of a rough start. Again, we saw that in game 1. The Jesuits started to adjust a little bit. There's a beautiful strike by Van Gilder. He's got a triple now. Flushed it in the 1-3. Bowling extremely well on the 2 spot. So again, the 1 and 2 bowlers for Brother Martin have just been outstanding. Blue Jays trying to hang in the low pit, but Brother Martin is on fire.
Up 45 in the 1 slot, up 23 in the 2 slot. The 3 slot's dead even as they just continue to match strike for strike. Wow, Darren's locked in. Got a break or 2 there early, and he's settled down.
5 in a row to get things started.
Both of them.
2 bowlers in the 3 spot have struck the first 5 frames. Darren Martino, Will Adams. Game on. Haven't seen any 300s in New Orleans League play this year.
Have not. I don't think there's been any. I'm not sure there's been any in Louisiana this year. We've had some close calls. But in the prep league, there have, in varsity competition, there have not been any. Hit a couple a year ago.
McGovern unable to double and really needs that because he's up against a young man in Coletti. He's just bowling great. And is up right now on lane 16.
Wide.
Just a little bit wide.
2-5-7, yeah.
Tough leave.
Yeah. You want to try to cover this as much as you can with the ball.
And a break on this cover.
Yeah. Second time Porter's done that. He's gone to the left of the 3-pin and covered the 3-6-10.
Sims hit it hard and he's high.
Same leave, 3-6-10.
Fun.
They say for the pros, the hardest spare, not a split, but the hardest spare to convert is the 3-6-9-10.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
makes all the sense in the world.
Right. A lot of pins to cover.
Perfect shot here. That's a double, and that's a missed spare. So that match tightens.
Yeah, dead even now.
Dramatically.
4 slot.
So even at 4. 5-spot Jesuit with the lead, 6-spot Jesuit with the lead.
So,
but the low pair belongs.
So basically, it's even right now. You got Brother Martin leading in 2 matches tied, and Jesuit leading in 2. That's
a little bit high.
I'd call that even.
A little bit high. Still in the 1-3 pocket again. Talking about Wood. Dan Gilder blows a rack. He's got 4 in a row. It's because he's right-handed. Having fun with.
Yeah. He knows not to take instruction from his father.
Sure, having fun with his dad. That's all. So. Perfect shot from the oil. About 35 feet to the dry and then snap. Martino unable to get his 6th in a row.
2-4-7. But that's a 2-pin, could be a 2-pin match if he converts here because Adams.
And a double for Hun. Beautiful pitch here.
Coletti gets back on it after an open frame in the 6th.
Sims trips to 4, which is important in an even match. Martino for the cover. A little bit wide. 4-pin, good shot nonetheless. So both 5-hole bowlers off of their 5-baggers. Difference is Jesuits Adams with a conversion. So he has the lead in that match. There's a 4-pin again. Wood just can't.
Right. But the thing he's doing is he's right there on the edge of the oil and just keeping it,
He's just
keeping it in play. Yeah.
Everything in play in the 1-3 pocket. His carry percentage just not that good in this particular game, as he's lost 4 hits in this game and carried only 2. But it's not like you want to make much of an adjustment there, right? I mean, when you're that accurate,
of course not.
You kind of get a little frustrated, and I've seen it before, and it's happened to me, where you start thinking, I got to do something because I can't knock the pins down, and then you lose your shot when you start moving.
A lot of count loss there with that.
Yeah, tough shot, and then losing 3 pins on the count, which opens things up for the 2 spot for Jesuit right now, and that's Pierce with a double up.
Chance to take the lead right here.
Hun almost standing on the left edge of the lane, turns that one over for a triple. I mean, he can't get much further left than he is. For the cover, nicely done. And a 10-pin left here. That's a big item because that could have been an opportunity for Jesuit to really pull into that match at the 2 spot. Good shot by Pierce, but left the 10-pin. Wow, that's tough. Got the 10-pin out, fortunately. Now, you don't want to see a 7-10 on a shot like that. And a cover made.
That's a 3-pin match
Pierce.
now at 2. That got a lot tighter.
Sure did.
Pierce on Saturday bowled his first career 600 series.
There you go.
Congrats to him.
Trying to carry that momentum forward here. Nicely done here on this pitch.
Gardner needed that double just to kind of maintain contact right here. That's turned into a 23-pin lead right now for Ben Hun in the 6th spot. Again, you see the score at the top of your screen there, Ken. 6-2 Brother Martin. Remember the magic numbers you see there as well. Is 14. It takes 14 to win. Yeah. In theory, if Brother Martin swept here, they could close out the match. But it's not looking that way at this point. You're looking at a very even game 2 at this point.
That one came all the way back. Covered a lot of boards to strike. And another 10-pin left by Pierce. 2 in a row. Oh, with Wood, it's just a matter of whether he carries or not. He's going to be tough to beat in that 5 spot.
17-pin lead. They've got the lead in all of those matches now.
That's a double. Got a big trip for Coletti, who continues to bowl well.
Jesuit is up 12 at the 4 spot. They're up 17 at the 5 spot and up 23 at the 6 spot right now. Oh, and
there's a 4-9.
Wow.
Boy, that was not a bad shot. But again, when you're crossing boards, entirely possible. Which changes the dynamic of that match.
This becomes a huge shot here for Gardner.
Without
He's
a doubt.
A chance to take the lead.
It surely does. Solid 10-pin here. Almost got a messenger.
Will Adams gets back on it with a strike there in the 8th frame.
Adams having the best game of anybody thus far in game 2. Perfect shot. Gardner has changed this match.
Let's see
if Hunt goes for this.
This is very convertible, obviously. And
not only that, but lost the pin count too.
Yep, lost 2.
And that's big because instead of being on a 6 count, he's on a 4 count against a 7 count. That really changes things.
It's a 3-pin match. If he just gets the 1, it's a 1-pin match.
Exactly. Sims with a triple now. And as we said earlier, he's capable of throwing a lot of strikes as he has the lead in his match. Porta, a little bit high.
That's the third time we've seen a 3-6-10 there.
Now Martino. Started off so well, and now he's back on again. Really good pitch. Very simple game, Lenny, but a very, very good game.
Yep. And you know me, I'm partial left-hander.
Now there's a moment. Wood actually missed the pocket.
Right. Haven't seen much of that. That's an opportunity right there.
With a strike
for
up.
Gardner coming up. Yep. Porta converts again. That's now 3 times he's made the 3-6-10. He's done it 3 different ways.
No doubt. Well, here's a big shot coming up for Carmona.
Yeah. Can make this a 7-pin match with a strike here.
Yeah, it did.
And he will be on the strike. He'd have a chance to get up in the 9th frame and take the lead regardless. So we've already seen 6 flip, at least for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
This could turn Brother Martin's way at least, or would take a couple of shots. Good shot, trip to 10.
Different looking match now. That's the beauty of this game. It can change quickly with strikes. And again, I just think the angle that Hun's at, it's going to be hard to carry. I mean, he's so deep on the lane, so he can find the pocket. But his carry percentage.
You come in a little behind the head pin. You start wrapping the 6 around the 10.
So what's the answer? The answer is that you can use something a little bit harder and move a little bit back to the right. But that's easier said than done.
Several tight matches going here right now. It's like Brother Martin's in command at 1.
Mm-hmm.
That is over right now.
Yeah, that's long over.
Yeah, it's over.
Yep. Good shot. Keep that match very close.
4-pin match going to the 10th, and they're both on strikes.
10-pin. Went right down the boards there.
Both of them leave a 10. This is going to be
Martino doubles.
If Drew Gardner can convert here, it's a 2-pin match. And Adam strikes.
Boy,
wow, what a terrific game that is at number 3.
Look at 3. I mean, they're both bowling just outstanding games.
They both go off the sheet. It's 268, 255. That's the kind of match we're looking at right there.
That's still anybody's game going to the 10th frame because they're both on doubles.
No doubt.
Anything is possible in that situation. So you've got 2 or 3 matches that are really crucial here in terms of if Jesuit's going to have a chance to win this match.
Yeah. 4 at this point is definitely in Jesuit's favor. 2, 3, 5, and 6 are all very much in play as we hit the latter stages here of game 2. They're into the 10th frame now on the low pair. We're in the 9th frame
here on the high pair. Well done. Perfect shot. Really nicely done. Sims is just bowling extremely well.
And he generates more power than anybody of the 12 out here that's competing.
And again, Coletti just continues to bowl well for Brother Martin. Consistently good.
Had a gutter ball there in the 9th frame on a double, but spared it up and got right back on a strike. So
another good shot.
Big shot there by Carmona to take the lead at 5.
Huge shot. And then a messenger that does not carry.
So that's a 4-pin lead now for Carmona at 5.
With the strike up.
Right. And a chance to go out. He needs the first strike in the 10th and a bunch of count to win the match.
McGovern finished at 150 for Jesuit. Another strike.
Coletti's going to finish in the 2 teams again. 219 the first game, can strike here on the 12th for 215.
Wood right now has got to be wondering, what do I have to do? He missed the pocket once in game 1. He's missed it once in game 2. And right now he's barely over 200 and is down in his match. Another 10-pin. We've seen quite a few of those, and that was one that Jesuit needed in the 10th frame in the 2nd spot. Good location by Pierce throughout, just leaving a lot of 10-pins. That ball didn't dig, and he almost stole it nonetheless. Gardner.
Let's see if Hun makes any kind of adjustments here. Really, it's hard.
So
it's
deep
hard
on the
to.
lane.
Yeah, he's playing in around the 18th board. And that's going to jump up.
Too many boards there to cover, and can't cover. And that ball jumped up high, and he's still down 2 pins.
Assuming they both convert here, it's a 2-pin match, both on spares going into the 10th.
And again, maybe the same equipment and the same shot is a different result in Kenner than it is here. Again, the difference in the houses. Van Gilder comes through with a perfect shot to win his match. He's in the 200s again, so Brother Martin will win the first 2 matches, which is huge on the low pair.
And look at what happened on the low pair in game 1. 3 200 games. Look at what happened on the low pair in game 2. 3 200 games.
Colin Pierce shot 182 2 straight games, interestingly enough. Van Gilder with another good shot, leaves a 10-pin.
Half Tanner, that's flat in the pocket. Probably a little bit too much speed on that one.
Good spare here.
Needs it for 207.
By Will Adams. Sim strikes again.
And that, now look, that opens the door at 3
Sure it does.
For Martino to get up and
double
steal
and win.
Exactly, or maybe even, may not even, depending on the count on the field ball here by Adams, he might only need 1 and count.
So a 206 for Van Gilder, another good game, game 2, to win his 2nd straight match.
I taught him how to shoot corner pins, okay?
Figured as much.
Yeah,
and a gunner ball just thrown, unbelievable, by Adams on the field ball.
That's just, now all of a sudden Martino can strike and win the match.
Exactly.
He said, and I'm thinking a 7 count, if you get a 7 count, then go strike 9 spare and tie. Oh. Porter with a good shot, but
sure did.
A 7-pin. His match was ostensibly over. For the win.
Martino leaves a 7-pin. He couldn't have made a better shot.
What a great shot.
Really good shot in the clutch. But he's going to come up just short.
All you want to see these young men do is, get up and make shots when you have to make shots.
Yep.
The thing about this, we talked about this early, Ken, other than, and really for Brother Martin, let's face it, that match at Catholic, okay, it was 12-4 after 2.
Right.
Okay, it was effectively over at that point.
Yep.
Jesuit against Central was a little bit tighter match. These kids have not bowled in a match all year where game 3 has mattered.
Nope.
Luke Wood with a big split there, and Ricky Carmona's got a chance to close this out right here.
Good location, solid 10-pin. Good pitch.
So I think that may be, he needs to make the spare to close this out, just in case Wood makes this. And this is makeable.
Not going to happen. 190 game. So that match changed dramatically in short order. So Jesuit loses a match there that looked like they were going to win. So now it comes down to the 6th spot and whether or not Jesuit wins this match. He still wins the match despite missing the 10-pin because of the open frame for Carmona. So now what happens? Here's Hun down by 2. In the oil, carries.
Now, one thing we got to consider here, I think Brother Martin's in good shape in terms of the super total right here, the total pins in this game, just because of those big margins at 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're all right there. But Jesuit has won at 3. They've won at 4. A chance still here to win at 6. So this could be Drew Gardner.
But it still looked like a 5-3 match.
It could even, Gardner's still got a chance to basically match. If he matches whatever Hun does,
he's going to let Hun shoot.
Right. Drew is, shall we say, patient.
There you go.
Is that the right word?
In the oil again. Couldn't have made a better shot. Leaves a 10. Again, the angle letting, I just don't know that he's going to be able to carry enough from that angle.
So Gardner with the 2-pin lead. Now here's the situation. He's going to need a strike somewhere in this, assuming Hun makes the spare. It's either got to come on the fill shot or it's got to come right here.
Right.
He's got to cover 19 pins.
Strike here makes it very easy on himself, or a lot easier. He's right in there. Messenger doesn't get there.
Now he's got to pick this up and strike. He's got to pick it up and then strike to win by a pin, again, assuming Hun converts the spare. It's high drama.
It is. Both bowlers have to convert the 10-pin. First up, Hun. No problem. Hun shoots 203. And now Gardner must match that and fill with a strike. Now, spare 9 would tie, which is still not the desired result for Jesuit, given their deficit in this match. Because Brother Martin will definitely win total pins here in game 2. They're going to win this match either 5-3 or 6-2.
Good
nice
conversion.
Or 5.5, 2.5.
And I will tell you, for Gardner, that's big right there. That's, as many strikes and as many times he hits the pocket, that's the one thing that at times I know he wants to work on, is converting those corners. We saw him miss a 7 earlier. And now here you go. A strike to win.
Strike to win,
That's
9 to tie.
Yeah. Anything else is a loss. And we're talking about
taking a lot of time.
So again, you're talking whether it's 6-2 or 5-3 right here, whether it's 12-4 or 11-5 going to the last game.
11-5, you're still in it, but you'd have to win 5 out of 6, if not all 6 matches to have a chance.
But to overcome total pins.
Well, sure,
that's
it.
Yeah.
And I think the deficit is going to be a little bit much to overcome.
Look at the reaction. You see the emotion that this game brings. The whole bench erupted on that shot.
So a 6-2 win for Jesuit.
For Brother Martin there.
For Brother Martin, I should say, in game 2. Well done by Gardner. Took his time, made a really good pitch to get the victory. And the Crusaders are in command here by a 12-4 margin after 2 games. And with a significant lead in total pins.
We'll update that number for you.
We don't want to, as they say, call the race too soon, right?
No.
So we're not going to do that. Jesuit can still be capable of shooting an off-the-charts game and doing something significant, but frankly, it's going to take that for them to have any chance.
Here's the thing. Because even whether it was 12-4, 11-5, remember, 3 points for super total. Okay? So that means Jesuit has to win total pins to win the match.
Right.
And let's see, that Jesuit in that game shot 1198, if my math is correct, and Brother Martin shot 1245. So that's add another 47 to that. So the margin is now 150. Is that right? Yeah, 47 and 103 is one. So the margin is 150. That's what Jesuit has to overcome.
Lenny will take you through the next minute here.
We'll get set with lineups and such. See what kind of changes are being made for either team. And again, look, it's when you're seeing these kind of scores, any kind of adjustments you're making are very small. You may see one change. So we'll get you an update on the lineups in just a moment as we get set. Both Todd Bourgeois is talking to his bowlers, Bruce Himbert talking to his as they get set for Game 3. We will see if there are any kind of lineup adjustments right here, Ken.
Well, you've seen one substitution worked very well for Brother Martin as Darren Martino bowled wonderfully, being inserted in Game 2. I would assume he'll bowl Game 3. And then for Jesuit, they tried a substitution. It didn't work out as well. And we'll see what Todd Bourgeois elects to do in Game 3. Bowlers can make it easy for the coaches if they perform well, and if they don't, then
this match a year ago, I don't think we saw a substitution in a 40-12 to 37-77 match.
And we'll let Lenny go get the lineups for Game 3. As he does so, we can tell you that today's match on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Lamarck Ford. Huge things are happening at the big store in Kenner, including a huge selection of pre-owned inventory in the brand new indoor showroom, featuring all makes and models. Come see our Lamarckable deals and service. Stop by or go to Lamarck.com. Thanks to Ronnie Lamarck for his generous support of CrescentCitySports.com as Game 3 is underway. And for all intents and purposes, if Jesuit is going to have any chance to win this match, they not only are going to have to win at least 5, realistically all 6 matches, but Jesuit's going to have to bowl 1350 or better to have any chance.
Yeah, no doubt. You're going to overcome a 150 pin spread. At this point, look, it's about. It gets to this point in a match, you worry less about the individual matches and you worry more about total pins. You've got to go get everything you can get because, again, the only way to win the match is to win the super total. And pretty much, if you can overcome a 150 pin spread, okay, then you're probably going to be very close to being in the ballpark there of winning 4 out of 6, 5 out of 6. It takes them all.
Luke
Yeah,
Wood.
it doesn't take them all, I should say. Yeah, you've got room to lose one individual match.
Wood with his second straight open for Jesuit. Suddenly he was the best looking bowler for a while, but he's scuffling a bit now. And Hun strikes behind him. Van Gilder strikes for Brother Martin. Crusaders are off with the first 2 strikes on the low pit, which is where this match is clearly being decided. We talked about that in our opening as to the advantage Brother Martin would have. And there again, you get more evidence of it as 3 bowlers have bowled on the low pair for Brother Martin, and all 3 have struck as Martino hits him in his first frame. Another strike for Brother Martin. Gardner, who just came up with a big strike to end the last game, strikes, and now Porta strikes again for Brother Martin. All right, what are the changes for this game?
None.
None at all.
It's very simple. None.
Same 6. There you go.
Hey, you look at the scores. Look, okay, Brother Martin has 25, 24 through 2. Jesuit has 23, 74 through 2. So Jesuit's on pace to shoot maybe in the mid 3,500s. That's not, except for that Patrick Taylor match where they shot lights out, that's about around where they've been. They've got a bunch of 3,500 team series this year.
Look like a ball switch there. So Wood makes a switch. Goes to a harder surface ball, clearly, just by looking at the surface of the ball, and he strikes.
And one thing that as this game's evolved, and you and I don't bowl like we used to, but one thing I've noticed just what the equipment has done, and with the oil on the lanes and stuff, I'll tell my son all the time, if even if you don't think you should move, you should move.
Well, Hun has moved, and Hun's using a harder ball too, Lenny. Struck in the first frame and went down the boards that time and left a stone's end pin. And he just hasn't been able to create the area and the carry that makes him such a good high average bowler. That's a really nice conversion on a very difficult spare, the 3-6-9-10, made there nicely by Pierce. I mean, I used to consider that a double. You make a spare like that. Yeah. Gee whiz.
Coletti's got it. Coletti's got the 3-4-7 to pick up here, which
Alrighty
something different, I guess. But
that's where he attacked it.
Gave it a run. And that's one of those things. Especially when you're on a strike, do you take a shot at it there,
or do you just
go take the count?
Here's what I would say. I think it's all different in a match play format, because I think what you're looking at is I've got a significant edge over my opponent, no disrespect, so I can go for this because I know that I'm going to be able to come back and throw some strikes and win my match. I think it's all about that. There's a strike for Van Gilder. He's got a double to start game 3. He's been a solid performer all day.
Yeah, and look, Ethan Porta at the number 4 spot now. He lost that last match to Gary Sims, but he bowled big in the first game. And
Sims just left a 4-pin on a double, so Porta takes the lead there.
So that's leads right now, early going for Brother Martin at 4, 5, and 6.
Right. Things continuing the way they've been. Gave it room. Couldn't get the 7-pin out. Still a good shot. Everything in play. Beautiful shot by Martino. He's off to a double again. Oh, what a job of inserting the left-hander by Bruce Himbert, who, of course, has a pro shop here at Colonial Lanes. Grew up bowling with Bruce. Great guy. Great for the game. He's done a magnificent job as the coach at Brother Martin, winning 4 of the last 5 state championships contested. And a beautiful shot here by Coletti as he rebounds. And that's what I was talking about. That's why he could go for that spare last time down. There you see the much harder surface ball and more straight approach taken by Wood, and he leaves a bucket. A little bit too much ball here. Crossing boards.
That's a decision that I always struggled with, is how to shoot spares, corner pins, if you will, on the opposite side of your hand. You know, for right-handers, the 4 and the 7. For left-handers like me, the 6 and the 10.
Wood really struggling. He's had 2 opens in 3 frames. Now 3 of the last 4 frames he's open. And you can see a little bit downcast. He's bowling so well earlier. Right, I think it's all about your style. It's about the equipment, but it's about what you're comfortable doing. Like I said earlier, I think the better angle on those buckets or buckets plus 1 or double wood spares on the left side of the lane for a right-hander, you're better off shooting it from the left side. But are you comfortable doing that? And I never was. I had to use the lane to be able to do it because that's what I was comfortable doing.
Drew Gardner with the front 3. Darren
Martino's got the front 3.
So that's 4 out of 6 Brother Martin bowlers who have started with 3 strikes here in Game 3. And it's one of those things, again, look, the score suggests something different, 12-4. 150 pins is not impossible to overcome, though, Ken. We've seen it happen.
And Sims has been the most consistent bowler for Jesuit. 212, 236, and he's off to another good start here. He's doing his job. And I'll tell you why. He creates area, but he throws it hard as well. Yeah. So he's got the combination. What we've seen with Hunt, for instance, is he's creating area, but he doesn't throw it as hard. So it's crossing boards. He's having trouble either carrying or maintaining control.
Sims generates way more power with his revolutions and his ball speed.
Right.
His game is similar to what the two-handers would do, although he's not throwing it with 2 hands.
I think that's accurate. Yeah. He's able to create that area. Jesuit making a few spares, which they have to, but at this point they're going to need strikes to have any shot.
No doubt.
Nice shot here.
I mean, you think about, you mentioned the score. If it takes a 13-50 game at this point, and Brother Martin would shoot in the neighborhood of 1,200 right now, first of all, Brother Martin's got to shoot in the neighborhood of 1,200 because they've got a lot of strikes strung together right now.
And again, you see the boards being crossed.
It's a bad break.
And the inability, the second 4-9. These are not bad shots. It's just the angle of attack and the speed, and that's not at all a criticism. He's such a good bowler. But again, this is a different house, different reaction, similar shots elsewhere, maybe a different story, but not here. And again, Brother Martin continues to bowl extremely well. Even when they don't carry, they're making good shots by and large. He'll go for this. He's using the whole lane.
Oh, nearly had it. Good try.
Like the effort, nonetheless. No chance but to go for everything if you're the Blue Jays right now, as this match is starting to get away. Good spare by Coletti. And Jesuit struggling here as Brother Martin is in control of 2 of the 3 matches, Todd and the other on the low pair. And on the high pair, the Crusaders are in control of all 3 matches. So right now, Brother Martin in total control of this match. 7-10.
Wow.
Well, you hate to say it, but you knew one was coming today at some point.
Right.
With some of these angles we're seeing, right? Tough 10-pin there.
So some of the strings getting broken up. Porter with a 10-pin. Van Gilder went through the nose, left a 3-pin. So the only string still going at this point is
Martino.
The lefty Darren Martino in the 3 spot.
Yep. Yeah, you love leaving the 3-pin, the 2-pin, or the 5-pin. And those are the friendliest leaves there are in terms of converting spares. No problem for Jacob to handle that spare.
Yeah.
As he maintains a 20-pin lead in his match. 7-10, you just go up there and get one, and that's what he does. Tough break.
Saw the video pop back up on my Facebook feed of all the 7-10 splits on television that have been made.
We're seeing about the 4th one that's bounced out of the gutter. They'll correct it on the scoreboard. Martino, good shot, leaves a flat 7. So no 300s today. There's the guy that's created more space, more area, and has been able to carry in doing so. And that's Sims. Very impressive. And another good shot by Coletti.
3 strikes on the right lane. He's got to work on the left lane here.
Martino unable to cover the 7.
Did it again.
And bounced out yet again. A lot of score corrections here. Have to correct it. Automatic scores. Here's a 10-pin again. He's made the adjustment. Harder ball going down the boards, but not finding any carry. So if you're Wood, you're just kind of betwixt and between. Softer ball, creating boards you couldn't carry enough. Harder ball, lesser boards, you're not carrying either. Again, that's bowling, right?
Yep, just got to...
Able to nip the 10-pin for the cover, but the frustration is obvious. This match stacked up as being a very good even type of match, and frankly, it's not really that at this point.
No, it's and look, that even this match last year with the scores that we saw with both teams shooting lights out, the final 20-7, you don't get a lot of 15-12, 14-13, 16-11 type matches. It just doesn't work out that way. Yeah, and there are a lot. Like there was a match earlier this year with Jesuit.
I think that's the third different ball that we've seen unused as he switched to a shinier black surface ball there. That one was flush.
3 in a row for Pierce in the 2 spot for Jesuit, trying to maintain contact, and nearly another.
Yeah, I know he got the 7 out this time.
It out. But in fact, I even wrote about it at CrescentCitySports.com. There was the match between Jesuit and Patrick Taylor. It was bowled at AMF. The final score was 22-5, and it's nothing like that. Oh, yeah. The first game was 7-1, and every match went down to the 10th frame. Nothing was decided by more than 14 pins, but Jesuit won 5 of the 6.
Mm-hmm.
And it was similar type, just not that extreme in game 2. It was just the score in the way this sport is scored doesn't always suggest that.
Martino taking care of his spare with a sizable lead. And well done by Gardner to cover up. He's got a solid 20-pin lead as well. Brother Martin's up in all but 1 right now. Sims with a slight lead in spot number 4, and he's up on lane number 18 right now.
It's only 2 pins at this point, though. Can make it 12 right here.
He just did.
No, rockets to the pocket, that's what we used to say.
But something on it, too.
Well,
I mean, it's not flat.
No doubt about it.
Good execution by McGovern. He gets himself a double and gives himself a chance to take the lead in that match.
Let's see what Coletti does on 15 here. If he can match him and maintain a tie.
And he trips the 4-pin. That match is still tied.
Tough break for Carmona. We've seen those 4-9s. He leaves 1 now.
And now Wood leaves a 10-pin. He's just frustrated. It's been that kind of afternoon. And a good shot here. That's a 4-bagger. Well done for Jesuit's 2-hole bowler, who was Pierce. So he's battled right back into that match.
In the lead.
Dan Gilder trying to counter. Good shot, 4-pin. No harm done there. High rev rate there and a strike. Will Adams had such a good game going the last game.
Yeah. Couple of opens here, but he bounces back with a strike. Now, Hunt is kind of went back to closer to what he was doing there, and couldn't.
Safe to say it's just not his condition or just not his day for what he's capable of doing. He hasn't bowled badly. He just hasn't been able to get to that average.
He hasn't scored. Look, for that matter, Gardner's got 2 wins, but he shot 202 and 204 against 196 and 203, so he hasn't, put enormous numbers up either.
No, the highest average bowlers have not been the stars today. Crossing a lot of boards here and covering the spare. Martino, blows him out.
Great shot.
Porta opens the rack.
That's Gardner.
Gardner, I'm sorry.
Yeah. From behind,
Porta.
they
Porta
do
on
look,
16. Yeah. Good release. Wow. Very impressive. Meanwhile, Coletti is able to triple on a Brooklyn. When it's for you, right?
Yep. Sims continues.
Right.
He makes great shots. Yeah.
Makes it look easy. Just walks off the lane. Says, no problem.
Got it. We talked about all those 700s last year in this match, 5 of them to be exact. Mm-hmm. He's the one that's got a chance to get one here today.
Strike for Van Gilder. Just been consistently good today. He and Coletti both, and those 1-2 spots have just been solid as a rock for Brother Martin. And that's set the table because you know what they've got beyond that. Too tough to overcome for Jesuit here this afternoon. Wood unable to cover. It's just, again, all those hits he couldn't carry for a better part of 2 games, and then the frustration set in. Another nice shot.
You're right about Martino's game, Ken. It's not complicated, and you just keeps it in play. He's got a couple of things that every once in a while, those bugaboos he's got to watch, you know. But when you're simple, it can be easy to fix things and get right back on track. Oh my goodness! Will you look at that shot on lane 18?
That's really strange. Holy cow! Talk about pin being off spot.
Yeah. Take a closer look at that on lane 18. I wish we had replay going right now.
Goodness
Matt.
Gracious.
We could rack up a replay on that one and look at it for days. That was the 4-pin, I believe.
All you can do is
and
laugh.
it's in front of the spot where the 3-pin would be. That's just why the rack is not,
That's crazy. One end of the lane to the other, essentially.
Yep.
Crazy.
What you going to do? You just make your spare right now. That's all, and you forget about it.
Blows a rack, leaves a 7.
Wow.
Good match in the 2 spot, a 1-pin match.
Oh, wow. And a tough break there for Will Adams in the 3 spot. A stuffed 9-pin. And Pierce continues. The 2 spot there. Pierce with a strike in the 8th now.
Very good match.
Van Gilder on the strike in the 7th has got a chance to take the lead in the 8th.
Yeah, 1-pin match right now. Certainly a match to watch in this 3rd game. With the team result already decided, we can call it now.
You would think at this point.
Over.
I mean, it would take there's certainly enough room, but it would take.
I've made the call, so I don't need a network support. I've made the call myself. Brother Martin is going to win this match. The question is by what margin? Squeezed it, crossed it, and a 3.69.10.
We'll talk about those tough spares. That's, like we said, that's the toughest one for the Pro Bowlers to make.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, wow.
Gardner missing.
Still has a slight lead in the match by 8 pins.
Right.
That's one of those things.
You didn't expect that.
No, but
Hun will have a chance to step up and take the lead with a strike next frame, but he's had, again, a lot of trouble with controlling what he's done. And there's Sims just absolutely destroying the 1-3 pocket, and it went right over the 7-pin.
Right.
The 4-pin goes right over it.
The 7-pin might have actually moved the skosh to the left there. It's almost hanging in the gutter.
Of all the hits we've seen today, that is the worst break of all. I mean, that was a perfect shot with a lot of power, and there's another 7-10, which I've seen enough of those for one day. That's 2 now.
7-10s, 4-9s. I've seen a lot of tough hits lost here today.
Sims covers up nicely. So Jesuit is up in the 4 spot. Jesuit is down in the 5 spot, but that's gotten tighter. And the 6 spot is tighter too now. Went back to his previous ball and back to the result he was getting earlier.
I don't know if something is off spot on that rack on 18.
Well, they got an open. You have an open 1-3 on the 18.
Yeah, but
I said that earlier when we walked in the house.
Right.
It is an open rack.
It's the reaction that's coming on the left side of the rack, though. Like that 4-pin that slid on Gardner and that stuffed 7-pin that Sims left. And even there, that wall shot that would have, normally the head pin would have taken out the 7 and it didn't.
Well, if you look at it and you're staring at it right now, you got an open 1-3 rack every time with the pin spotter on 18.
Yep.
That's going to create advantages for certain hits and significant disadvantages for others. And we've seen a lot of evidence of those disadvantages, right?
Right, no doubt about it.
Here's Gardner. Wrap 10-pin. Now Hun with a chance to take the lead. He's not been able to put together a string of strikes here today, which we're accustomed to seeing him do. Gave that a lot of room. And there's the 10-pin comes in behind it. Redundant in terms of what we've said regarding the angle. Beautiful shot by Coletti. On his way to seemingly winning his match. It would take strikes on the part of his counterpart in succession.
And even then, Coletti can't be shut out at this point. He could strike out for 223, and McGovern can strike out for 220.
Two teams that figure prominently in the state playoffs and the championships, which we'll have at CrescentCitySports.com. And Gonzalez
have those finals, which probably gives us reason here, Matt. Let's take one more look at those power ratings just to kind of paint the picture here on what is where these two teams stack up in the state in terms of just the seeds at this point. The season ended today. You're talking about a 7 and a 9 seed, and not that it's a lot of it's going to depend on matchups. As I see it, there are probably 5 or 6 teams that have really good chances to win state championships just based on the depth of their lineups. As we know, anything can happen on any given day in bowling or any other sport.
Sims blows a rack again and leaves the 10. Can't make better shots than he's making.
Big stride in the one spot there by McGovern to tighten
Gives himself a chance. That's right. And another missed 10-pin.
Come on, guys. You need to make your spare.
Conversion by Van Gilder, so he stays 2 down. A very close match. Sims no problem with the 10. McGovern wide. Not going to get back.
But it was on a strike. Now it's just he converts here.
The lead. I'm sorry. That was a 2 spot. That was Pierce.
Pierce, yeah, but it's.
So he's on a strike. Still has a chance to maintain a lead by 2 if he spares. Good stroke there. Wood can't even get a Brooklyn carry.
And scores are
Martino,
down at
Stone.
Wow.
Stone 9-pin. Good spare by Pierce to maintain a 2-pin lead. Going to the 10th frame in his match. Wood covers. He's down 4.
Yeah, you've got some tight matches here. You've got 3 pins at 6. You've got 4 pins at 5. You've got 2 pins at 2. And you've got 3 pins at 1.
And a Stone 7-pin. Can't make a better shot than that for Adams. Tough stuff.
Yeah. So Martino is going to win this at 3.
Just a great insertion by Bruce Himbert. Martino's come on and bowled extremely well in that 3 spot.
No, we talked about that depth, not just the depth of your lineup, but the ability to be able to go into the bench if you need to and make a move and not lose anything.
Perfect shot.
Gardner needed that one in a big way after a couple of tough frames.
And slapped out the 10 that time.
There you go. So it's a 3-pin match there going to the 10th. So you've got 4 of the 6 matches, 1, 2, 5, and 6 are what we're watching here. As they all go to the 10th, all less than 5 pins.
Oh, you know Sims is going to hit the pocket and look at this.
Oh, wow.
He finally got it out.
The 9 came.
Goodness gracious.
The 4 came out of the back and hit the 9.
Big miss by McGovern for Jesuit.
That's
going to pretty much give Brother Martin the... Coletti can put it away here, just one good shot.
Strike would clinch it.
And there it is. So Jesuit loses at 1 as Coletti continues to bowl extremely well.
219, 215, and a chance to take this one out for 225 at number 1. That's huge.
Sims finally misses the pocket, shoots 235 if he makes the 2 pins on this split. Oh, look at this. Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Very nearly picked it up to stay in the match.
183 for McGovern, which is above his average by 4 pins. But not enough to win the match.
Porta's going to lose here again at 4, but he's been solid today. A chance to strike here for 215 and what would be a 646 series.
Well, Sim shot back-to-back 236s after bowling 212.
Going to win all 3 of his matches. 684 is his series.
Yep. Crossover here. He's saying, yeah, now I carry, right? Why not? So it struck out 215 game. Well done for Porter. Good spare, needed that. He's lost pin count.
Yeah, but actually,
Van Gilder now with a pin edge at 2. And a good finish by Coletti. Boy, he bowled well. 222 game.
656
Wood
for
doubles
Coletti.
here. So it takes a double here on Brother Martin at 5 to win the match. And there it is.
Big shot by Carmona. And again, even with the match
And there's a
seemingly
bad
in
pin
hand.
count here. So that'll put him at 210, which Van Gilder just needs a mark now. A mark and a decent count to win that match.
Got to fill 16 here.
And he'll do it. Strikes in the 10th to put it away. Well, you bowl 210 on the low side and you lose. That tells you how good Brother Martin is, because that's usually you bowl 210 in the 2 spot, you're going to win a match.
Well, now it looks like with three in hand, okay, Brother Martin's going to win 8 out of 9 on the low side.
Right, and what we said beforehand was going to be their advantage, and it turned out to be that way. Hunt looks like he might win his match.
Big shot there.
Van Gilder with a 4-pin. He's going to bowl, looks like 215. Finishing up Will Adams at 145, it looks like. After 2 good games, struggle in the 3rd. Look at this.
How about Carmona striking out in the 10th
to win it.
Yep, bounce back. He was really struggling there, Ken, and bounce back.
Yep, hung jump.
187, 608 is his series.
Van Gilder spares out, and Hun throws a strike. So Hun's like, I found it now.
Yeah. 215 and a 645 series.
For Jacob Van Gilder.
3 points, too. That's, yeah.
Well done. Again, the 1 and 2 spots for Brother Martin, I think more than anything else, dictated and won this match today. They dominated. Dominated their opponents, won every point. And Martino stepped in and been excellent in the 3 spot. 7 count here, but still a spare that he can convert.
I just did not. That got no reaction at all. It almost rolled out, in fact.
Well, I think he realized he couldn't win the match,
Right,
and there's something to be said about that. Hun's found it. He'd like to start over now, right? His fellow students.
There you go.
Cheering him on. That's funny. Good spare by Martino.
Strike for 212 possible there for Martino at the 3 spot. And again, he came in after the first game, shot 222. Chance for 212.
Converts it the hard way. Martino trying to close out a game in the 2 teens here. Finish up 2 straight games of outstanding bowling off the bench. And he wiggles a 9 count for 211. Now we're just waiting for Gardner to finish up here to conclude
Phil
this
ball,
one.
and this will end it, and it will end up. This will be a 6-2 game, Ken, which will make it a final score, I believe.
21-6.
Yeah.
Correct. So 183 for Gardner and a 21-6 victory for Brother Martin, as they were convincing here this afternoon. The most recent state champion in Louisiana able to wrap this one up in solid fashion. 21-6 over Jesuit. Handshakes all around for these two fine teams and sportsmanlike teams.
May see each other again. Ken.
I would
Who
think
knows?
they would, and real good chance that will happen regardless of seeds down the road. Good bowlers, good teams, excellent schools, good young men. Very impressive performance by Brother Martin here today as they got it done. And again, Lenny, we can talk about the individual performances, but to me this was all about the low pair for Brother Martin and all about the 1 and 2 holes. They made a substitution, and their third hole turned out to be excellent the last two games. But to me, this was all about the 1 and 2 spots for Brother Martin. Carson Coletti, 219, 215, 222, and Jacob Van Gilder, 224, 206, 215. That, I think, is what set the table, which takes nothing away from Ethan Porter, who shot 230, 201, 215, and was just excellent all afternoon. But again, that low pair, totally dominant for Brother Martin. Talked about that being a key in the Open. Turned out to be the difference.
No doubt about it. And look, you had 17. We'll get the final team scores and all of this. But again, the thing that we talked about it at the beginning. This is a sport about depth. Okay, You look at the scores. There weren't any overwhelming scores out there. You had a lot of good, consistent bowling. Over averages in some cases, but at 1, 2, 3, 4, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots all delivered 600 series for Brother Martin. Okay, and Drew Gardner wasn't far off of that at 5. He had a tough day, 589. Okay, but obviously that was, you're talking about and Ben Hunt at the other side. Yeah, he came back and shot 605. That's just the way this sport works. Sometimes we've seen it happen where. The perceived best bowlers out there aren't going to put up the highest scores sometimes. But this is a team sport. And you're going to get performances sometimes in matches like this from places that you least expect them. Okay? And like I said, Brother Martin got 600 series from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. A little bit of different combination with the shift in the lineup there. But that's what it was.
When you look at bowling from an LHSA perspective, and we look at what's happened since 2011, it's been really controlled by New Orleans area teams. In 2012 and 13, Archbishop Rummel won state championships, and then Brother Martin's won in 15, 16, 18, and 19. Vanderbilt Catholic's the only school that's interrupted that run of New Orleans schools, as they've won twice.
And I think the area you got to look at this year, if you're looking for competition, I think it's going to come from Baton Rouge. This is a huge match here today in the New Orleans area, the biggest match. Next Monday, you got Catholic Bowling Central with that's who these two teams lost to in Gonzales a little over, a month ago. And
in the center that they're going to bowl in for the state tournament.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, kudos to our friend Kent Lowe because, he called it right. He says, look, this was a great thing for bowling. Now do it in New Orleans next year. Would love to see that happen. That would be, that would be great. I'd like to stream that next year with all of those matches going on at one time. That could be a lot of fun. And he was right on target.
I think he's right on, too, and I think it's a great thing that they do bowl each other and put themselves in that position. Final thoughts about what we saw here today, Lenny?
Well, again, this is one match, and it's this is not going to decide what's going to happen at the end of the season. It's very possible, depending on how the brackets lay out, these two teams could see each other again. And I think these are two of the 5 best teams in Louisiana. And so, how the brackets lay out, who they have to face, if this ends up being a state championship match, it wouldn't surprise me. It could very definitely end up that way.
Well, it's all about seedings.
Sure, no doubt.
And whether you avoid somebody until the finals or not, don't know yet. It's way too early to project that. But we certainly saw two teams today that are very capable of making deep runs into the state playoffs. You can read all about this at CrescentCitySports.com. Lenny will have a story later. Plus, you'll be able to watch this as many times as you want. Always, for free at CrescentCitySports.com. That's what we do, and we're so happy to be able to bring it to you. So we encourage you to do that, and we want to remind you before we sign off that we will have the state championships live here at CrescentCitySports.com.
April 27th in Gonzales. Is that right? No, April 26th. I'm sorry, April 26th. That's a Monday in Gonzales, the individual finals. are the next day. Brackets come out 2 weeks from today. We'll know the path that both of these teams have to take. There'll be matches at AMF All-Star Lanes in Kenner, one half of the bracket. The other half will be bowled at Creole Lanes in Houma. They'll get down to 4 teams, 2 on each side of the bracket, and then they'll all meet up in Gonzales the following week to determine a state champion.
Look forward to bringing that to people, and we want to thank Matt Merritt for a job well done here today to help make this possible. And we want to thank all of our sponsors for helping make this possible here today.
Yeah, especially the Greater New Orleans USBC and their board. I mean, we've got people who sponsor events all year round, like our friends at Lamarck Ford and Riverlands Insurance and Oxner and others who have been involved in our broadcast. But yeah, you've got people who are interested in bowling and helped us bring this to you today, and our thanks to the Greater New Orleans USBC for that.
Very grateful. Thanks to Colonial Lanes for accommodating us here today as well. We're very appreciative. Want to salute our friends at Brother Martin High School and at Jesuit High School. Coach Bruce Himbert, Ryan Gallagher, Mark Wisniewski from Brother Martin. For Jesuit, Todd Bourgeois, Peter Kernian, the wonderful people, David Morrow, the athletic director. We appreciate their cooperation because it's first class, as are these schools and institutions. So once again here this afternoon, a victory for Brother Martin as they defeat Jesuit 21-6.
And look, we talked about the bowlers from the Baton Rouge area. I left one school out that can definitely win a state championship.
Central Lafourche.
Central Lafourche, and they're one of their coaches, Chris Floyd, was quick to remind me of that. But they are the number 2 seed at this point. That Central Lafourche Brother Martin match 2 years ago in the semifinals was
fantastic.
A classic, and they will be in the mix as well. I think it's them, it's Central, it's Catholic, it's Brother Martin, it's Jesuit. There might be one outlier that can sneak in there, but those are the teams that are going to be in the conversation for a state championship when it's all said and done.
Trojans are the real deal, and we look forward to seeing them as well. Lenny, it's been a pleasure.
It has been for me as well. I got to tell you, this was difficult today, no doubt.
You did fine.
Yeah.
All good. No worries.
Yep.
So we proved that you can handle this.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have to make a lineup change.
No.
That's all. I was evaluating my lineup.
Look, we may enhance our bench when we get to Gonzales.
Yes.
But
we'll still have you in the lineup. Whether you're going to hit 7th or hit 2nd remains to be seen. It might depend on the opposing pitcher.
It's all determined by my average, I thought.
It is determined by your average. We'll see who the opposing pitcher is. And if it's a lefty, we're going to hit you down in the lineup. Okay? If it's a righty, we'll DH you because you can't play defense.
No,
all right.
Exactly.
That's been a pleasure. Thanks, Lenny.
All right.
I want to thank Matt Merritt as well for a job well done. And thanks to all of our sponsors and viewers for watching and supporting us. Now, this is Ken Trahan from Harahan, reminding you that Brother Martin defeated Jesuit here in New Orleans Prep Bowling action 21-6. God bless you one and all. We are rounding third and heading home. So long.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.